A Revit template has those default settings that you use whenever you start a project to set up the way that your annotation will look inside of your Revit template, which includes any of the text and line weights that you may have in your project. Begin by going underneath the big R, going to Open, and then Project. Go to whatever directory it is that you have your Revit templates in. By default, this menu here is going to try to open one of two different kinds of files, either an RVT file, which is a Revit project file, or an RTE file, and this is the kind of file that we're looking for, which is going to be a Revit template file. In this case, I'm going to select on Default, move down here, and click on Open. This opens up the default Revit template. The two different spots that we need to look for information related to annotation families and just annotations in general are under here under the project browser where we have the families category. If you expand that out by clicking on the little plus, you'll see that there's an option there called Annotation Symbols. If you click on the plus next to that, you'll find a variety of different kinds of tags, including area tags, keynote tags, material tags, and room tags. There'll also be other kinds of symbols there, as well as information related to your title blocks. In fact, any title block that you might load into your project will show up here underneath your annotation symbols category. Now, each and every one of these may have text inside of them. There's a very good chance they all have line weights associated with those kinds of objects as well. So in order to edit any of these kinds of objects, and I'm just going to use view title as an example, open up this by clicking on the little plus. I'm going to highlight on the word view title, right click, and move down here to edit and select on edit to open up the view title. A common beginner mistake is to select here after the little plus has been selected, click here and right click, and you'll notice that there's not the ability to open it up from here. The reasoning behind this is that this just gives you a selection of different property sets that might be associated with this particular object, but what you really want to do is open up the family, not the property set. So that's the reason why you have to highlight on the family name, right click, and then select on edit to get to it to make your modifications. Now, the other spot that you can come into your template and make modifications to line weights and text is going to be under the Manage tab, Additional Settings. And some of the things you'll need to change from here will include your fill patterns, which are those hatch patterns. There are line styles, line weights, and your line patterns. And you can begin to set up your callout tags, elevation tags, and section tags through here underneath the additional settings. So whenever you're going to make adjustments to any of your annotation information inside of your template, just remember there's two different spots that you need to look. The first thing is going to be underneath the Manage tab and Additional Settings. Really anything that's listed here. In particular though, fill patterns, your different line categories, and then your different tags. Then if you want to make changes directly to those different families, under your project browser, expand out the Families category, come here to Annotation Symbols, find all those different families you want to make a change to. Maybe you want to adjust the fonts or the line weights. Highlight on whatever family you want to make an adjustment to, right click, and then select Edit. That'll open up the family editor, and you can begin to make changes to those different annotation tags, line weights, and symbology.